at the end of the day, no one knows what it's like to be you.
Yeah.
Like, you can be as close as whatever to somebody, but only you can live your life. And, you know, you can't pour from an empty cup.
I'm Cindy Beasley, and this is Producer's Cut, where we get into who they really are when the cameras stop rolling. The brains behind the operations, the beauty behind the scenes. Just a short way to describe the iconic force that is Teryn Payne. Multifaceted is an understatement. She's an artist manager, but also a marketing officer for her family business. Eastside Crazy, aka born and raised on Chicago's South Side, her passion for fashion comes from roots tied to seeing her father co-own a historic clothing store in her childhood neighborhood. Her career starts in journalism as a beauty and fashion contributor for well-respected outlets like Ebony and Teen Vogue, catapulting into the music industry as staff for Chance the Rapper. It's without question that she is able to handle any role, any job, any task in any field. She has evolved across realms, but I am most proud to witness her evolution as a woman. To know Teryn is to know that she's loyal, honest, kind of feisty, but truly one of the best friends that anyone can have. Ladies and gentlemen, Teryn Payne.
Wow.
How's
What an
it feel, girl?
introduction.
I did good.
You did great.
How you feeling today, Miss Payne?
I feel great. And I'm honored to be on your show. It means a lot to me that you asked me to do it,
Really?
even as your friend.
Why it means so much?
I think because we are like navigating professional spaces together.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just don't take it lightly that you asked me, and to close out the season for such an amazing and courageous, just, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you
Just
didn't.
an adventure.
Yeah, definitely an adventure. You didn't have to do this, and it's very courageous, and honestly, like, super admire you for it.
Well, thank you, sister. I couldn't think of anybody better to close out with. I think, as you know, you are one of my closest, dearest friends, my sister. I think our bond goes beyond the sorority. It goes like this some real life in the trenches. Like,
Yeah.
yes, we are navigating professional spaces together, but I think we're navigating life together. And
For
especially
sure.
for the last few years, watching our journeys kind of mirror each other, even outside of work. We're going to talk about it. Like, what is going on in these love lives? The retrogrades be retrograding, honey. But we'll get there. We'll get there. But it's my honor because, like I said in your intro, just watching what you've done in your career, watching what you've done in your life, the obstacles you've had to overcome to get to where you are today. I want to talk about it, honey. And like I said, you are the beauty behind the scenes. You are the brains behind the operations. I don't think people really understand the magnitude of your work. Like, yes, people know you. Maybe they know you, your Chance's manager. They know you, Clint's daughter. They know, you know what I mean? They know your family is locked and tied in pretty much every creative entrepreneurial space in Chicago for the last 2-3 decades at least, right? But like, who is Teryn? You know what I mean? And how does she move these mountains for all these other people? How would you answer that? I think that's a great place to start, actually.
And that question, it feels kind of heavy to me because even at 32, I think I'm still trying to figure out who I am. Just honestly, like, I am so many things for so many people.
Yeah.
My family, like the people that I work with, my friends. I don't know who I am, but I know who I'm not.
Ooh,
So
talk about it.
I'm not like somebody that can really hold her tongue. And so
Kind of feisty.
that definitely has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say that I can't in any situation, but sometimes it's just hard for me to like not speak my truth or like say how I'm feeling in a situation. And I think that's the beauty of who I am. And I feel like I'm somebody that can stay calm in high stress situations.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is one of my superpowers, just working in a stressful environment and just having a stressful life, being a human being.
Yeah.
But it's important for me to be in a space where I am working on my personal brand and strengthening my personal brand because, as you've said, like, I'm doing all of these things, but I feel like people don't get an opportunity to just know me for like just being Teryn.
I agree. And I want to build to that because I feel like you just laid out a lot of steps, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't know who you are, but you know who you're not. You can recognize characteristics about yourself that most may have a problem with, but they are your superpowers. And if we start there, I want to talk about how your superpowers show up at work. But
Yeah.
walk me through I think what most people know you for today is being on Chance's management team. You are one of his managers.
Yeah.
Walk me through how you got that position. How does Teryn Payne get hired on Chance the Rapper's management team?
Yeah. So I'm trying not to tell like the story like I usually tell, because I think it's important to know that this was something that I never thought that I would do. It was never a part of my plan. I wanted to be in magazines. That's where my career started. And so when it happened, I think the thing that I had to remind myself is that I'm not going to limit myself, because I couldn't picture myself working for a rapper.
Yeah.
I had never been in a studio before. I had never just been in certain environments where rappers are. So that was definitely an adjustment. But me and Chance went to summer camp Avalon Park when we were younger, and we reconnected professionally when I worked at Ebony Magazine. He was on the Black Music issue. This was like shortly after he won the Grammy. So this was I think this was March 2017. We had a photo shoot in Chicago, and we looked at each other, and he was like, "You look familiar," and I was like, "You look familiar," and we were just going down the line of like, how do we know each other? And then we realized like, oh, we went to summer camp together. And I got laid off from Ebony shortly after the shoot, and I saw him at a birthday party, and he was asking me like, oh, what are you about to do now? And I was like, I'm about to move to New York, because I wanted to move to New York fresh out of grad school anyway.
Yeah.
And so he had asked me to be his assistant at first. I don't feel like I was meant to have that role as his assistant just because it didn't happen, even after he offered it to me.
Yeah.
I was and am still, even though I don't write as much, I'm a journalist. And so once that happened, I moved to New York and I started working at Teen Vogue. And it was a very like, you know how you just like go on Instagram and you start to, or the internet, and you start to idolize people and things, and you have this idea of what you think a person's life is. That's what I was doing at Teen Vogue. I remember my pledge mom, your grandpurse, she had a conversation with me my grad school year. I think it was right before the school year ended, so that spring semester, and she was just like, if you don't figure out like what you want to do, like you're gonna get like eaten alive. And that conversation, it really stuck with me. And it's funny because I brought it up to her maybe like 10 years later. I don't think she realized how much that gave me a reality check. Like I needed to get my shit together, because it's like I wanted to do something, and I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but I didn't know exactly like how to go about it, because I went to journalism school at U of I, but it wasn't like laid out for me as much as I thought it would be. And also I think the career that I wanted to have wasn't as like expected in, maybe if I went to like Columbia or another school. So I started to like create my own path. But I do feel like when I started working with Chance, it was very just unconventional. I moved from New York after I got laid off at Teen Vogue. I was at Teen Vogue for like 7 months. It felt like a bad breakup, to be honest, because I had this big going away party that you was at. My dad used to say like the going away party was like Project X. Like I had the whole block sewn up. Moved to New York, got there.
After 7 months later.
I'm like, after a couple months, I'm like, I don't like this. But I didn't want to feel like a failure, so I stuck it out. And I feel like me and you, as the close friends that we are, will be in a situation where it's like, it's not serving us anymore, but we want the other person to do it. But I'm going to give myself a little bit of credit, because I was like 22, 23 at the time. And I'm like, I can't give up. I'm going to just keep on going. But I really think that I lost my job at Teen Vogue because I spoke up for myself a little bit too much.
Okay, I got to jump in for a second.
Yeah.
You got, I mean, there's so much there to unpack.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to, it's like 6 things we're going to come back to.
No, seriously.
One of them I want to start with, though, you said you kind of had to start creating your own path.
Yeah.
For somebody watching this who may feel the urge to do that, but they have no place where to start, what does it look like to start creating your own path? Is it a certain set of tools you need? Is it a mindset? What was that process like? And what should somebody know if you have to go out on your own? This is what you need to do.
I mean, honestly, there is no direct answer, but I think what worked for me and what Raven told me is never stop being a sponge and never stop being a student. So I was just reaching out to people that, like, I always feel like this, even as myself, like if I don't know the answer, find somebody that does. So I was reaching out to people that worked in magazines or that had that specific type of experience to get information from them because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I think from there, when I got in my grad school, like my journalism program, I kind of just made my own curriculum. I went to the school of FAA and I started taking fashion classes and photography. And I'm not gonna lie, the College of Media, like dean, it was this white woman and she was just like, you're making us lose funding. And I'm like, I'm so confused because I told you all what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
When I started like this program and you all asked me to be a part of this, and now it's like you're saying I'm trying to take away funding.
And for someone who doesn't know what FAA stands for, what does that stand for?
I think it's Fine and Applied Arts.
Okay. So I'm hearing a lot of, you talk about this white woman dean that's got an issue. We get to Teen Vogue. It's not the big, beautiful dream we thought. It's a culture shock. These spaces that don't turn out to be ideal, or these people that try to, maybe the white lady dean wasn't necessarily trying to break you, right? It sounds like she was in a panic herself, right? But she's not serving you and she's not taking a step back to separate her emotions from the reality of, y'all asked me what I wanted to do and this is it. So I'm painting that context to ask you, when you're up against opposition, that is the reality of this is not what I thought it was going to be, or this person is not the resource I thought they were going to be. How do you recalibrate? How did you decide I still can't give up? I can't let the fact that she's telling me this isn't, you know what I mean, what they're looking for, stop me from doing what I want to do. My village
is everything. I remember being on the phone a lot with my mom because honestly, I got my master's from my mom. And I don't regret it at all. My family, especially on my mom's side, is a heavy educational family. Everybody has at least their master's or some type of secondary, like higher education.
Okay.
And it's funny because I started to like really dislike my program like 2 months before graduation. And I was like, I'm about to quit. And she was like, girl,
you 2 months out, that's crazy.
That makes no sense. She was like, finish the semester, and I had my master's thesis in the summer. But my family, my friends, my network, like without that, I feel like I could have easily just walked away, you know? And in reality, in hindsight, like 10, 15 years later, that wouldn't have been a good idea. But at the time, it just felt so heavy. I'm like, I don't have a support system within, you know, the school. My program is super small. It was just like 6 people in my master's like cohort. And it felt like they just wanted to go to school. Like one of my teachers was my classmate.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. What do you mean by like it felt like they just wanted to go to school?
You know how people just get degrees and they already
Say
have.
I'm checking it off the list.
Yeah.
It's no real passion there. They're missing that grit or that desire.
Or they're just like, I'm gonna just get another degree, and I'm like,
they got a lot of time and money, don't they? That stuff is not cheap. Hold on.
That's what I'm saying.
When you talk about this village, and let's jump back to, because you jumped ahead in my list.
I did. Look at you. I'm sorry.
No, you're great. Just being all vulnerable about getting laid off, girl. I love that you are being so candid about it, because I know at the time that was not the case.
No,
that
at all.
You know, I think people who, yes, you present as so strong and fearless, and you are in real life, but like, I think what people don't know is that when something triggers you or hurts you or whatever, you go within.
Yes.
So this village, you know what I mean? I don't think everybody in that village got the notice of you being laid off at the same time. So when you got that when you went home from work that day and you realized, I'm 7 months in, I'm now in New York, I'm officially jobless from this job I thought was gonna be my dream job. Like you said, the block was sewn up. We was outside sending our girl off to the East Coast. Who was the first call to get that message?
That's a good question. I don't remember telling anybody.
Nobody at all, not even mom? You said you talked to
So
mom a lot.
ironically, my mom was coming to New York for the first time to visit me. She had never been, like, since I had moved there. She got it out of me. I wasn't trying to tell her, and I think that God had her.
It sounds like divine time. She never been for 7 months, and now you get fired and she's here.
Yep, she was coming in town to visit me. She was spending the weekend. And leading up to me getting laid off, we would talk on the phone and she would be like, "Do you still have a job?" And I would get so annoyed. I'd be like, "Why do you keep asking me that?" She's like,
'Cause she
"I'm
knew.
just saying, like, you know, this new guy's coming in. You're training him.
Yeah.
Don't train somebody to do, like, take your job."
Free game. Hold on, because I'm sure most of us have been there.
I didn't really see it coming. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was just my mindset or me just being immature. But when I got laid off, I got on the train and I went home. I went to my apartment. I remember I sat in the park. It was February. I remember it was like a week before my birthday. I sat in the park, like, in the cold. This sounds so melodramatic, but at the time it was
that's
so
real life,
serious.
yeah.
Because I'm like,
Life is a movie.
damn, I'm 23. I got rent. I sat on the bench and just stared out into space. And I remember going back to my apartment, and my roommate, Najee, she was like, "Why are you home so early? You literally just left." And I was like, "Oh, I just wasn't feeling it." Because one thing about me, I'm prideful.
Yeah, you are.
I'm super prideful. So I didn't want to tell her, like, "Bitch, I just lost my job." So I just went in my room. I think I had a pity party, but I had to get myself together because my mom was coming, like, later that evening. And, you know, a mother just knows.
Yeah.
Like, she looked at me and she was like, "What's wrong?" And I was just like, "I lost my job today." And I just started crying. And she pulled out her phone and she got her calculator. And she was tallying up, like, how much my rent was so she can make sure, like, that she would cover it.
Aw,
And
ain't that a blessing?
man, like, and I never wanted to be a burden to my parents or my family or anybody because it was my decision to move to New York. So then I started feeling like a burden. But it just felt good to know that she wasn't upset with me. And I mean, knowing my mom, she wasn't. Like, I didn't do anything wrong,
Yeah.
but I just didn't
was
want to
life.
be, you know, have that responsibility be on her. Like, my portion of my rent was probably like, I think $300 cheaper than my parents' mortgage at the time. So I'm like, I don't want to ask them.
That's 2 mortgages, essentially.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
And I had 2 roommates. That's just how, like, expensive, to live in New York was. And that was in 2017. So to answer your question, I don't even remember who the first person that I told because I was too prideful. Like, I didn't want to tell anybody.
You are talking a lot about staying in spaces that maybe didn't serve you because of the look or because of your commitment to other people. It sounds good, you know what I mean? And it does highlight the positive parts of who you are as a person. Like, that is that loyalty that I talked about, that is that determination that you have. But what did that cost you? Because that sounds like a really big sacrifice, honestly.
Definitely, it weighed on me. And if I could go back and do it again, I would be just a little bit more fearless. In the
Fearless
sense,
how? Not to cut
in the
you off,
sense
but-
of, like, if I'm going to say something or do something, I just have to stand on it and deal with it. I think when I got to Teen Vogue, I was like the little sister at Ebony. I was the youngest person in the company. I was fresh out of grad school. I was 22 years old.
And was it a mostly Black staff?
Yes, definitely mostly Black. It was a couple of people that weren't Black, but it felt like a sense of community. I remember when Trump became president for the first time, I didn't even feel crazy about going to work because I knew everybody was sad. Versus people that were in, like, white spaces, they may feel like, I don't even know if the person sitting next to me, like, I had no doubt. Like, it was a somber feeling in the office. Fast forward to Teen Vogue, it was just a melting pot of different races, ethnicities, sexual orientations, pronouns, all type of things that I was just getting exposed to that I didn't grow up really knowing about. And it didn't feel like a community. It felt like people were in competition with me or just really focusing on themselves. But in the interim, it felt like harsh. But I think I had to take a step back because now that I'm older and I can go back and reflect, like everybody was just going through it. But I was taking a lot of stuff personal. Like I remember the first day at Teen Vogue, you know, I had moved to a new city. I didn't have a hairstylist, so I had got like some
And we
box
know you don't play
braids.
about your hair, honey.
Do not.
Fresh up,
Miss
fresh
hair
half
done.
up, half down.
Shout out to my brother. Slay by Roma J.
There you go.
I had box braids in my hair, and then my boss at the time was like, "Oh my gosh, I love your braids." And I was just like,
girl, it's a regular Tuesday.
right? But it just felt like I was being kind of performative as a Black woman and not just being like myself. So when I was writing my stories, I was like, do I just black it up a little bit more because I'm trying to fit in this box of being a Black woman in a space that isn't necessarily predominantly white? Everybody's like repping their sets of whatever, or whoever or whatever they are, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. And you're speaking about, you know, now that you're older and you have more experience, you can reflect, and look back and see like, all right, we was all just going through it. It wasn't as personal as maybe it felt. But what would you look back and not even tell yourself, maybe tell one of the coworkers who you felt was in competition with you? What advice would you give them for a moment like that to coexist and make that a better experience for all of you?
Yeah, I think I would just have like a sit down conversation and tell them like just really where I was coming from, like who I am, my background of being in Chicago. Like I feel like the first time that I went to school and had, you know, my peers be outside of my race was at U of I. Like I went to a predominantly like Black high school, Black grammar school. So even when I went to U of I hung out with mainly Black people. So it's like giving people the context. And I'm such an empath, even though I can be a little feisty or, you know, just in a space where I can be a little hard exterior. Like I'm always thinking about like how does the other person receive it and what type of day were they having. But I think I would just sit down and be like, you know, it felt like we weren't on the same page or, you know, we weren't seeing eye to eye on this. I just want to let you know, like, this is where I was coming from.
So kind of looking back and giving them some succinct advice around the power of communication, around the power of vulnerability, taking the initiative to have those hard conversations and say, look, I don't know what you got going on. Here's what I got going on. And maybe we can find some sort of alignment or something. And I think that even in this big age, in this phase of our lives, like that understanding is so powerful. Like having one hard conversation can prevent so much drama in your life.
Yes.
But do you know how fast people run away from those conversations?
Yes.
Like, it's scary, girl. I'll be like, damn, what did I do? You know what I mean? So
I don't bother nobody.
That's my say. I don't. Teryn, who do I bother? I don't bother nobody. I go to work. I check on my family. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm chilling. I'm really cool until I'm not. But that's because you pushed me there. Like, what you want me to do, right? But I really appreciate that. And I think that that's a timeless lesson is the point of me breaking that down. Like, people need to hold the power of communication and hold the power of just being fearless enough to have the hard conversations. But going to you discussing the concept of, you know, you're an empath and you feel things. Do you think that characteristic about yourself is what has helped you sustain such long relationships and friendships? Because one thing about you, no new friends. All right, you got you a new friend today, huh? Oh, girl, like, I be all right. Let's pump the brakes, shorty. But you're not wrong, twin. You're not wrong because it has been me a couple of times. But, you know, what has been the secret to you sustaining your long-term friendships?
That's a great question. Let me think about that for a second.
Take your time, honey. Whatever you need to come up with, because a lot of childhood friends for you.
Yeah.
I feel like most of your friends, like at least your close ones, are definitely 10, 15 years plus, easily. You got family that's like your best friends. Like you don't play about your cousins, honey. we know about TP. That's that over East T that the world don't get to see. We gonna bring up out.
I'm trying to think like if it's an answer that I can say sustains, but what I will say is meeting people where they are. I feel personally I am a low maintenance friend. I don't like to require a lot of things from people because I know that sometimes it's hard just getting through the day. And I may not be the friend that's always checking on you, but if you're on my mind, I'm going to let you know. I'm a great listener. I'm going to think about like, if I'm just going through my day, I may send a text like, how are you doing? Or, just really asking somebody how they're doing can really go a long way, because life is hard.
Check on your strong friends, the
No,
weak
literally.
ones, the far ones, the close ones. Just check on your people.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that's what's helped you sustain throughout?
I do, and I think it's also just my friends understanding where I am in my life as well, and not being like, oh, when I can show up for somebody, I will, but when I can't, I don't want it to be held against me, because at the end of the day, no one knows what it's like to be you.
Yeah.
Like, you can be as close as whatever to somebody, but only you can live your life. And, you can't pour from an empty cup. And some days you just got to have that rock day. You got to sit in the bed and not feel bad about it.
Yeah. Remember that you're human. It's okay to rest, right?
Yes.
And I think especially in our industries, right? We got to take the initiative to remember to rest before our bodies or before those schedules force us to do it. That's fair. And when I think about all that you're pouring into being a good friend, pouring into, and we still got to come back to Mr. Chancellor.
Yeah.
But, pouring into being, a manager and working so hard, and we haven't even touched Retro Grill. What version of success, because you talked about a lot of loss so far already, and we really just getting into the thick of things. What version of success have you had to let go for yourself to be able to even sit in the comfort of, it's okay that I need to rock today?
That is a very good question. What version of success
have you had to just release to understand I am exactly where I'm supposed to be?
I think understanding that just because I'm not always on the scene or like at this event, like it doesn't make me less of a manager or whatever box you want to put me in, because when I show up, I want to be the best version of myself. So sometimes I decide not to go to an event because I don't think that I would be putting forth the best version of myself. Mm-hmm. So understanding that it's okay to sit some stuff out and don't feel bad about it. That's like a constant conversation that I have to have for myself. If I don't show up for an event or a family or friends, like personal accolade or like celebration.
Yeah.
Because, again, I don't know, I can't stress it enough. Like, life is hard, And I don't want to be, like, too heavy or anything, but
but it gets real at the table. Please be heavy.
Yeah.
Vulnerability is our thing around here.
Okay, well, great. Like I said, I haven't been in an interview where I'm just, like, breaking, like, down about, like, how hard it is to just go through your day. Like I said, nobody knows what it's like to just be you. Like,
what's been the hardest part of your life or of being you? What's been the hardest part of because there's many versions of you, right?
Yeah.
But I want to know, like, deep down, when you talk about how hard it is to just get through the day, what makes that hard?
And I don't want to make it seem like, oh my gosh, I struggle to get through the day.
Like that.
But I think it's like showing up professionally and yearning for like me to settle down and have like a family.
Oh, not you was reading my notes, girl.
I have not seen your notes.
Oh, you are segueing perfectly when the interviewee. Oh, girl, let me find out. I need to put my lock back on this iPad.
I did not.
Talk about it, TDP.
Yeah, I'm 32. I don't have any kids. I'm not married.
Baby, you are a young hot tenderoni, but keep going.
Yes, I definitely am. But I think I put a lot of pressure on myself because I have a young mother. My mom was 22 when she had me. And her mom, my grandmother, was 19 when she had her. Okay. So by the time I was both my mom and my grandmother's age, I would have had at least an 8-year-old. So I think.
Could you imagine that though? What does Teryn Payne on tour with Chance the Rapper look like with an 8-year-old kid, bro?
It's definitely, I don't know what that looks like. It would definitely have to be a lifestyle change. But I will say it's self-pressure. Like, my mom is not even pressuring me to like get married or have kids because she wants me to do it with the right person. But I think I'm just at a point where I'm like, the streets, they gonna be the streets, Mm-hmm. And sometimes I feel so jaded. I done been in every club, section, strip club, party. Like, you know what I mean? When it was like, Mom, you don't know what it's like to be in a section with za and bottles, like,
and strippers and honey.
Like,
we outside.
I have lived that life. Oof. And it's cool, but it gets old.
It gets old. I mean, everybody love. Oh, I shouldn't say this on camera, but so everybody love a good time here and there at the booty club every so often. But
But I think back to your original question, like, that's been the hardest for me because, man, every time I look up, I mean, we're going to a wedding this weekend.
Yes, yes.
Just
We
went
are,
to
sister.
a engagement party. Like, this is what's happening around me, so it's hard for me not to feel like, what are you doing?
Okay, well, you also haven't been single your whole life, though. So,
Haven't.
is there a time? And I mean, I think anybody with two eyes can see that you're a great catch, and not just because you're a young, hot tenderoni.
Right
but
back at you.
Thank you, baby. You know, tell them again. Hello, come find me, boo. Anywho, back on track here.
Yes.
To that point, though, you know what I mean? It's not just because looking at you and your physical attributes, you're sitting on camera articulating things that I feel like people twice our age still haven't discovered. The life lessons and ways to navigate through without overcomplicating what's already a naturally complicated. Like, you have the brains as well. We had a couple, relationships, couple stints. Has there ever come a time where you had to choose something in that relationship over work, or vice versa, put work first? And how did that affect the dynamic? Do you think there is a situation that contributed to your singleness now? Do you think they're separate? What's TTP?
Man, you my friend. So you have been there.
I have. What you want to share with the people, though? What can they take away from
Okay, ask the question like one more time, because I feel like I'm about to start rambling. So I'm like, let me be.
Sometimes the best gems just come from brain dumps. But I think the thing I want you to hit is if there's ever been a time that you've had to sacrifice in the relationship for work, or sacrifice at work for the relationship. And how has that molded the woman you are today?
I would definitely say it's been more sacrificing the relationship for work. I dated within my camp. So that...
Oh, I'm getting the exclusives, honey. Look at this. My girl did not come to play.
Yeah, I mean, I dated within my camp. I think when we decided to date each other, we were both trying to be like super private about it, but our relationship got very serious. We moved in together, and I think it became difficult for us to both, like, there was no separation between our relationship. It was like work, friend, romantic was just all this pool. So it got to a point where it's like, okay, we're going to have a date night every week, and we're going to not think about, we're not going to think about work. We're going to, we were intentional, and it just got to be way too difficult to separate the boundaries of like a relationship and a personal life.
Do you think that was solely because of work, or would you say that other factors impacted that?
It was definitely other factors, but I don't think you should just like date people that you work with. It's
really?
Yes, okay. I don't. It's too hard. I think it depends on the person, but I think for me, it's like I live in a world where my work is not always viewed as work, and I feel like that as well. And also just being like around me and my job, like I could be in a club and I'm at work.
Yes.
And even the people that are at the club don't understand that.
And that's the disclaimer I need to make. That's the only time we're in a booty club for work. Don't laugh. Keep going. They're not going to believe me if you laugh, girl. Come on.
Okay, I'm sorry. Because I'm like, is that true?
It was a joke, T. Come on.
Right. No, seriously.
Okay. You are so unserious. And I'm glad the world is seeing you laugh like this. Like, this is the Teryn I want the world to see. Not just the personality, but someone of depth, the stories. Like, yeah, I'll be outside, you see me with this, but like, I am a person.
Yeah.
And I have fought to get here.
Yes.
You have fought, girl, a lot. And I want you to tell the world that. Like, I didn't get here just because I went to summer camp with Chance.
No.
Like, 'cause I don't care if you went to high school with him and y'all was besties. He's not going to just pass the key to something he trusts to just somebody just because they're their friend.
No.
Something he has to see in you. I don't care if it's damn characteristic, right? Like, tell the people.
Say that.
I'm saying I need you to say it.
I did not just get here for my great looks and charm. I worked hard. I work hard for everything that I have.
Yes.
And it's not an easy thing to be in a male-dominant space. And I'm very lucky that I haven't been in positions where I felt unsafe, because that is something that's not talked about in the music industry, just being around men all the time.
Ooh,
Late
entertainment
hours.
in general.
Entertainment. I remember when I first started coming to the studio, before I got on management, I was working with Chance on a project with this publication called The Chicagoist.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember him saying, like, you know, I just want you to come to the studio so when I take a break from recording, like, we could meet. So I would be there till like 1 or 2, 3 in the morning. And after a while, my dad sat me down and he was like, you know, I really don't feel comfortable with you being in the studio with all these guys. Like,
And being
I
out
don't,
that late.
yeah, he
Getting
was like,
home
I
by
don't
yourself.
know. I don't know them. I don't know what's going on. Obviously, he knows them now. This was like 2018,
Yeah.
but I could see why he had that feeling and that fear, even with me being grown, because people get taken advantage of all the time. And I'm so blessed to be in a space where I didn't have those experiences, but I'm blessed to be in a space where I didn't have those experiences, but I have worked hard.
Yeah.
I have worked since I've been 13 years old. I've had so many jobs. I've been a server at Flat Top. Like, I've worked in the office. I've never really had like post grad school, like a 9 to 5. So my jobs usually become my identity. When I worked at Ebony, it was like Teryn from Ebony. When I worked at Teen Vogue, it was like Teryn from Teen Vogue. And now that I'm with Chance, it's like, oh, Teryn Chance manager. So I have to work hard to make sure that I'm just Teryn. And it's not easy because you're especially with a job like this, you're engrossed in everything that you do, and it quickly becomes your identity. And I just thank you, honestly, for pushing me to not just be fitting in whatever box that somebody can view me in, and taking a step to be like, no, I'm going to establish my own brand, and I'm, all these things for all these people, but I still am me at the end of the day.
What, you don't want to be, and rightfully so, Teryn Chance's manager, Teryn from Ebony. What are 3 words you want people to think of when they think of just Teryn?
Selfless, hardworking, and understanding. Those are like the 3 words that came.
I think those are 3 words that absolutely encompass who you are. And as your friend, I'm going to sit at this table and I'm going to ask you for 3 more that do not speak to the same sacrifices you just sat here and detailed me that you had to make. Because when you talk about being selfless, when you talk about being caring and the other adjectives you just used, yeah, I want you to always remain who you are internally, but I don't need the world knowing that about you 100%, because that's how we're done letting people take advantage of us. So, okay, you could be selfless, but you're selfless for those who are selfless for you. We're reciprocity, right? Like, we're showing up for the friends who show up for us. We holding down the people that hold us down. But to a total stranger who, we don't know them from who shot John. Give me 3 more words if you can.
Ooh, this is turning into a therapy session, I must say.
Damn, I'm that good at my job, girl. Hold on.
I'm like 3 more adjectives.
Or themes, you know what I mean? Just, it could be Teryn the singer. Like, it could be, you know what I mean? Just some passion, just something. Like, you mentioned I'm a journalist before I'm anything, but you don't get to contribute and write the way that you used to, given the demanding nature of your job, right?
Yeah.
So who do you want to be?
And it's funny that you say, like, the demanding nature of my job. I think right before I started working with Chance, I wrote so much that I started to resent it.
Really?
And I never was able to pull myself out of that space. Yes. And I think about that often because when I became a freelancer, I remember waking up in the morning, sitting in front of my computer and writing stories for $15, $20, $25 just to pay my rent. And it just wasn't fun anymore.
It became a survival tactic.
It became a survival tactic. It took so much out of me. It felt like I was working at a factory. And I'm like, okay, I got to send these stories in for pennies. Honestly, I respect freelancers so much. Like, people that still freelance to this day, it is the hardest thing ever. It's not easy and it's not lucrative.
Tell me about it.
In some spaces, like, I feel like I was just starting to get in that bag of freelancing at doing copywriting at a beauty company, like for a beauty brand. I got hired. I was doing like, I don't even know if I started. I think I did like 1 or 2 things at Revlon, but I don't want to get off topic. But to answer your question, it's hard for me to think of 3 words.
Well, that's fair. I think you just dropped a gem. It became more of a survival tactic.
Yeah.
So what do you think you maybe still need to hear? Because I haven't heard the full recovery part of it. But what do you think you still need to hear? And what would you say to someone who's in survival mode and needs to get their spark back, they need to lock back in, they need to get on a Zoom? What do y'all need to hear to help you do that?
I think
I
think for me, it's like change of scenery, a little bit of isolation, but also community. So I'm thinking like if I want to write again, I probably will go on a trip. Be by some water, probably be on the beach.
Let's plan one.
We should.
Let's do it.
And just get in a certain mindset and not look at it like a task, but look at it that I'm blessed to have the opportunity to do. It's a mindset shift that needs to happen, I think, for me to go back to being in a space where I'm feeling good about writing.
One of your hobbies is yoga. Do you think that helps with your mindfulness?
It does. I get a lot of clarity when I'm doing yoga. Like I'll come out of there, and the one thing that I love about the yoga that I do is that I do not bring my phone in the room. One, it's too hot, and two,
you do be going to that hot yoga, girl.
But it's restorative for me because the teachers are like you owe it to yourself to put your phone down for this amount of time and give this time to yourself. I'm very uncoordinated, so I'm not that great at like the postures and everything, but I think just having that space where you're like, it grounds me a lot. I'm going to miss it when I'm on the road for 2 months. But
I was about to say, where are you going? But yeah, my girl going on tour.
I am. It is a 40-city domestic tour for the 10-year anniversary of Coloring Book, and it will be the first time that I'm going on an official tour and the longest tour of Chance's career.
I don't ever want to hear that man complain about you being a good manager, because the way you just segmented that in there so smoothly, like, talk about it, girl. I love that for you. Are you excited? How are you feeling about it?
I am excited. I think that is something that I wanted to do for a while, and the 10-year anniversary of a project that means so much to so many people. I remember it was your undergrad graduation, my grad graduation. They had dropped
Not you dating my age.
Girl, like you said, we young, hot, and turned. So this was like 10 years ago when the album came out, and I was just at such a different point in my life. I hadn't even reconnected with Chance. And so now, 10 years later, to go to 40 cities and touch the people and be at all these shows, and we're going to have so many special guests, and like, I'm really excited. I don't even want to say nervous. I'm just hoping that I can keep a routine, prioritize my mental, physical, and emotional health, because we're sleeping on a bus.
That's gonna
only
be
hotels on the off
girl.
days. Yeah. And it's funny because our tour manager was like, I don't know if you're going to make it. Like you.
She gonna make it.
I'm going to make it.
She gonna make it.
But it's going to be an experience for sure. Yeah. But I'm really excited.
I'm excited for you. And just kind of on the note of excitement and looking ahead to the future, I don't want, your desire to be a mom and a wife to kind of just be grazed over. And I thank you for sharing what you did share and just getting deep. I think there's somebody out there who needs to hear that. And I think the two things I want to pull from it: what does a potential partner need to know about you or someone, I guess in a similar space, both career and family wise, right? Because again, you're an active daughter, but you are also deeply involved in your family business.
Yeah.
So someone this, multifaceted, but also so deep into so many close communities. What does a potential partner need to know about you early? Like what do they need to know year one? They need to figure it out that most people probably wouldn't figure out until like year 3.
Man, these questions, the depth, the layers of the questions are getting
Did
me.
I eat that?
In a great way, though,
Thank
because
you.
When you ask me a question, I'm immediately wanting to shoot off an answer, but it's too surface level, I think, because the first thing I was going to say is that I'm a workaholic and it's not personal. But I have to
That's a great answer. It's not personal is the key there.
But I hate when people tell me that. You know that.
Oh, yeah. And I don't get why, because it ain't, girl. These people don't be having it all the way. Like, sorry to say it like that, but the people are not okay. What we used to say, these MFers are in a crisis. The men are shaking in their boots, and the girls are not too far behind them, honey.
Yeah, I hope that whoever I decide and blessed to be with, they understand that. And honestly, if I meet somebody and they want me to be a stay-at-home wife and a mother, I would do it. I used to be like, I'm not going to do that.
You walking away from the job, girl?
I'm not walking away from it, but I've given myself so much to my career. And I think that when I get to a point where I am a wife and a mother, I would step away from it and dedicate myself to my children, because my mom did it for my little brother. I mean, she was kind of forced to do it, but me and her were just kind of having like a deep conversation a couple weeks ago where she was saying like she didn't feel like she was as far as her career, you know, as she wanted to be, but she gave a lot of years to myself and my brother.
And I think
she doesn't
Abby is
regret
great, because what don't she do?
I know, but
what doesn't she do?
We are our toughest critics.
We are.
And
I stand by that.
You know, like having to be in a space where you're like, okay, I'm going to take a little step back and focus on my family. I would do that if I was.
What would that require? Not to jump in, but what is that something specific that your husband would need to provide? Like, okay, what is it? Sis, spill the.
Yeah.
We manifesting right now, girl. So we're gonna get my girl a husband. You get to go first. Go get it, girl. You deserve it.
What does it require for me to be a stay-at-home wife and mother?
For you to walk away, for you to feel comfortable and safe enough to stay at home with those babies all day. What is the requirement?
Definitely having enough money.
The funds.
And taking it a step further, like, yes, the money is the financial, but like the support system as well, like the resources outside of the money. Like, it's not easy. I don't know exactly what it's like, but I could see it being hard just being with a baby all day. So like some type of nanny, some type of night nurse, some type of something. And also just letting me have time where I can still be myself outside of being a wife or a mother. Like, okay, she could still do her yoga, or she could still, because if I don't do my maintenance, like get my nails done, get my hair done, all those things, like I could definitely see me crashing out. So
make sure my girl is well kept.
Yes.
Make sure that she has a safe space and some physical support. So we need nannies, the things that we didn't see growing up.
Definitely not.
Yeah. I feel like so many Black women have been nannies, have raised other people's children, but it's like taboo for, our moms and our grandmoms to let somebody come in and help with us. That's kind of mind-boggling to me. You know, I can understand the nature of not wanting to just willingly trust someone, but I think I tie everything back to slavery. I ain't gonna hold you, but we can do that off camera. But what it does make me think about is the conceptualization of like Black women have to be strong and they have to be hyper independent, and like, do we? Because come get this baby. Like, I could tell you right now, and I tip my hat to single mothers. Like, I know so many that I admire with no question.
Yeah.
And I can honestly sit here and tell you with no bias or no harm, I do not want to be one. I have zero desire to. Now, God's plan is God's plan. Whatever he puts in front of me, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it well to the best of my ability. But I have no desire to do that.
I completely agree with you. And it's funny because I have had that conversation with Chance because, he was like, whenever you do have a child and stuff. And I was like, it's not even that important for me to be married as it is for me to find somebody that I'm on the same page with about how we're going to raise like a child. As much as we can be, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be on the same page with your partner all the time. And you all have been raised differently. So you're coming together with your backgrounds to raise like a child. But I think us being on the same page and just sharing similar like morals is more important to me than anything.
That importance of a family dynamic and having that solid foundation with your partner, because life don't stop life. And like I say that to everybody, I've said that in relationships, like it does not stop life. And so how are we going to navigate it together, right? But I think even outside of a romantic, familial relationship, and we're manifesting your husband and all these things, just walk me through the dynamic of being such an integral part of your family business. And you come from serial entrepreneurs, right? So it's like you've seen, I do too. I've seen it. Like, I don't know that I was ever meant to work a formal job, because my dad had great jobs growing up. My mom did too. But like majority of my life, I come from hustlers, baby. Like, through and through. So I say that to say, just walk me through being such an integral part. Tell the people about your family business. Like, I don't want the Retro Grill to not get the shine it deserves, because anybody out there should know that Cindy's Chopped Cheese is on the menu. And baby, I'll be having them show up to the restaurant to try it, but we can talk about that another day. I won't get messy today.
I'm actually weak. So, as you said, my family is full of entrepreneurs. My dad, my cousin, my uncles, now my mother, my aunts. I have twin aunts, twin uncles. We have had so many different businesses. Our current business is the Retro Grill. It's definitely a labor of love. I've learned so much. It's probably my most selfless job that I've had because I don't get paid for it. And I've learned the most in it, in the sense of, like, if you don't make it happen, it's not going to happen. When I say you, I mean our whole family. Like, every day my dad wakes up, opens the store, preps it. He's doing the cooking. He's on the register. He's doing the buying. My mom is doing the stuff on the back end. Like, it's not easy. I'm doing the marketing and reaching out to influencers and having them come, try the food and do a food review, or reaching out to different publications and getting us on TV. And sometimes it doesn't always, like, materialize or monetize into something, but you just can't stop. Like, you just have to keep going, because there is going to be something that is going to benefit the business. It is on 81st and Stony. We are owners of the property, which is not common.
Black ownership.
And it's hard. Like, there's so many goals and dreams that I have for the Retro Grill. We want to expand it and we want to turn it into a shopping mall, but everything takes money. We want to be at the Taste. We want to have a food truck, and everything is powered by money, and we need more grants. We need more support. I remember having a conversation with somebody, and he was like, you can't really just own a restaurant and expect to just have, like, revenue. Something else has to power it. It's just like, I feel like we're in a recession. We're not really talking about it. But a restaurant, that's one of the hardest businesses that I never knew
we used
could
to
be.
have one. Gemini Deli on 55th in Indiana.
It's hard.
It's hard. My mother says all the time, she would never do it again.
I don't blame her.
Actually, we made the most money on the restaurant front from catering. It wasn't even from the day-to-day
Exactly.
sales.
And me and you talk about that in our conversations, but it's something that you have to constantly cultivate. You got to put yourself out there and say you're accepting catering orders, because it's so many food places and it's so many different places that you can eat. And, we're bombarded by ads, and we're not a Chick-fil-A or like a huge parent company where we have all these different locations. So
it's hard.
I'm proud of it. It's still alive and thriving. It's not perfect, but it's ours.
How can the everyday person support? Like, I wish I had the grants and the connections for you, but how can somebody like me or anybody watching support the Retro Grill?
Just come in, order some food, order it on Uber Eats. It's funny, like, not funny, but in a great way. Like, some of my friends, they'll send me a screenshot, like, I just got this for lunch. That means so much to me. Those little things mean a lot. Or just tell somebody about it. Word of mouth is powerful. The tongue is powerful.
Yes.
So just continue to just talk about it.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
The Retro Grill.
The Retro Grill, 81st and Stony Island. All right, so before we wrap this up, because I feel like my girl was an open book today, and I am truly honored to be able to sit and conduct a conversation that helps the world know who you are a little bit more. I'm about to get sappy. I ain't even got to the good stuff. We're about to wrap this up, but I just think it's important to say in this moment that you are about to fly, my girl. Like, I can feel it in my soul. I mean it. And as you step into this next chapter of your life, whatever God has for it, don't nobody need to be confused about the layers of Teryn and how she serves the world, but how she also needs to be served back. So remember, you deserve that.
I appreciate that.
A few before we wrap up. We talked about your passion for fashion and you being in beauty and fashion. What is your favorite accessory or part of your outfit?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I feel like that's something only somebody in fashion really thinks about, like the details. Like, I could be like, what's your favorite designer? But no, what makes an outfit for you? I really stumped you for real.
You did. Because I was immediately about to say lip gloss.
Okay. Hey, that kind of counts, though. That's an accessory. And that's a part of makeup. Okay, I will give you that.
Yeah.
Lips gotta stay shining.
Always.
Ooh.
If you see my lips crusty, I'm not okay. I am not okay.
How do we know Teryn's not okay?
My
Her lips are dry.
If I'm in the hospital, you better come visit me.
I will.
And put.
I'm gonna bring the chapstick, friend. I got you.
Please.
I got you.
If my hair not
It's
done,
the fact that you're so serious right
I
now.
am. If my hair not done, if I don't have no lip gloss on, something is wrong.
Yes, ma'am. What's a Bible verse that you live by or that helps you through tough moments?
So my dad's mom, my grandmommy, who is still alive and kicking.
At what big age? Because that is
She's
such a blessing.
91. She'll be
Yes.
92 in October.
Yes.
She always makes us say, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. And also, honor thy mother and thy father, and thy days will be long upon this earth. So those two Bible verses have literally been drilled in my head. Like,
I think you are a great example of both of them. So shout out to Grandmommy.
And so are you.
Thank you, sister. I try. I feel like such a bad daughter sometimes.
I don't know why.
Because I'm out here doing this, and my parents need me.
And they're proud of you.
They are,
want you
and
to
I wouldn't be here without them. And oh my God, I'm gonna cry. We don't have any tissue. But I would give the world for them, and I think this is my version of doing that. This,
You're doing
what do
it.
I say? I gotta get us out the hood, baby. I gotta
figure out how to get this money
by
by
tomorrow. You feel me? Like, it's time for this to make sense. And so when I think about the time that I spend sacrificing away from them, I make sure that it's not wasted.
It's not.
You know, and I know that they see that, but it's one thing to know and it's another to still feel a certain type of way, right? So I thank you for saying that I live that out, because I be worried a little bit. Because to your point, they don't think we got real jobs anyway. You work from home. Like, I'm at work, baby. I got to go. Speaking of got to go, before we get out of here, if you could have a one-on-one with God right now, what would you ask him?
Keep me focused on the things that you want me to focus on, not just what I want for myself. Direct my paths, like Grandmommy said. Like, I don't know what, God or life has in store for me, but I think just keep praying and asking for guidance and asking for protection. Yeah. Thank God for my praying grandmothers, because I would be, I don't know where I would be.
Such a blessing. I only got to meet one of mine in the physical realm. Oh my God, I'm really about to cry. This is crazy. But I think it's because I feel it. I never got to meet my mother's mother, but I feel like I have. Like, I see pictures of her holding my brother. I see glimpses of her in my mother, right? And it's like, oh yeah, she probably was. My mother tells really funny stories about her. She probably was a little crazy, but I could feel it. I mean, 'cause my mama crazy, I'm crazy, right? So we got it from somewhere. It didn't come from nowhere. But I mentioned being able to feel her spiritual presence, because I know she's praying for me. I know she's watching. You could just feel it. You know what I mean? But I think that's a certain level of to praying grandmothers. And my father's mother was my best friend, and I think I lost her at 11. But it was something about the transition and being an 11-year-old. And my mother tried to protect me from it. But I'm glad that I fought her on it. I still needed the experience. I watched my grandmother die. I watched them bring her back to life, and I watched her die again at 11. And it shaped me to be able to have conversations like these and to share something that heavy, but not sit here in a bunch of tears about it, because that's real life.
I never heard that.
Like that. I never told you that?
I don't think
girl.
So.
I looked at my mama that day. My mother's probably gonna watch this part, like, little girl. We were in the elevator, and she did not want to let me in the back room. Well, my grandmother was in ICU, and my mom was holding me in the area, and she's like, I could feel it. She was not about to let me see my grandma. Like I said, this is my best friend. I spent all my time with her. And I don't know, as a little Black girl, what came over me to look Cindy in her eyes and tell her, if you don't let me back there, I will never speak to you again. And the fact that she didn't slap me. Oh my God, you know how blessed I am? I just knew I was going to get, but I think she got it. Like, it was just like, what do you say to a kid who has the gall to say something like that to you? But I think that was conviction from within, because I needed that moment. I can visualize. I watched my brother. I watched so many people die. We don't got to. This is getting heavy all over again. So we'll have this conversation a different day. But it's those interactions that give me the courage to inspire people out there. Like, one, lean on God. Let him guide your ways. Because who would have thought that would have been in the past? No 11-year-old should see that, right? But maybe there's one who needed to.
Yeah, and death is a part of life.
It is. Rebirth and all of that. And in the spirits of evolution and evolving and growing and moving on, I think you did an excellent job of sharing things about yourself that people would not know from looking at you. So I want our final question to be your past self. You know, if you want to pick the 23-year-old who got fired from Teen Vogue, if you want to pick the little girl from the East Side who went to Avalon Park with Chance the Rapper, whichever version of your past self that you want to pick, what about you now, today, sitting in this chair would surprise the past you?
Again, the questions, the depth. Like, I think the main thing that surprised me is that I didn't end up being an editor-in-chief. And it's still okay. And I don't know what my ultimate, like, prime professional version of myself is going to be, but I'm proud of where I have been and where I will continue to go, and I'm not going to limit myself. And I think if I was to go back and tell myself, it would just be reminding whatever version of myself, do not put yourself in a box. Don't limit yourself. If an opportunity comes your way, consider it. Don't take it right away, but be open, because you never know what it will turn into. I've had so many different jobs that during that time I didn't understand why I was doing it, but later I did. And it was for a reason, even if I didn't enjoy it or if I didn't like it or it didn't make sense. It made sense to me later, and I think that's hard, because if I could see how my future was going to pan out, I would probably want to take a peek, but it's not meant for me to do that. Like, you are supposed to go through every experience that you have. It's not to be cliche, but it's to shape you who you are. And sometimes you just got to live your life.
Live your life. With that advice in mind, give me a real quick, short sentence that you would give your future self. A piece of advice, a little love letter to the future, something to hype Teryn Payne in 10 years up. What's your mantra? What you telling her in the future? Blink me in the future.
It's going to be okay, and it's going to work out.
Amen, sister. To that, we cheers.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming. Oh my God. Okay, first of all, sip. I love you beyond words. I am so grateful to have you here. Let's go get them, T.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's go get them.
Producers cut, everybody. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Over here, it gets real on Producers Cut. So tell a friend to tell a friend.